Our destination?
Wisdom and life lessons.
Let's go for a ride.
Welcome to Girls Trip. In honor of our week-long Mother's Day celebration, we asked some viewers, some friends, to share with us either, you know, those words of wisdom, those things that mom is always saying on repeat. Or maybe like a piece of advice that she gave you that has stuck with you. Or maybe just like a sort of life lesson that you have gained from watching your mom as you've grown up. So I'm looking forward to reading through these because it's a really, we have the whole spectrum in who responded. We have all ages from teenage to, you know, we won't say how old.
We won't disclose that.
Sure. We have both male and female perspectives. So I think we're going to get a lot. I think it could be really heartfelt. It could be a little humorous.
I'm excited.
We're going to get the whole gambit here. So thank you to everyone who submitted some things your mom have said. Hopefully, if you recognize that is you that was saying that, hopefully it's a good thing that you've been saying on repeat. So, all right, we all have our own little bags that have some things in them. So who wants to start?
I got
Rebecca,
this.
you start.
Got this. Don't take anything from anyone. Fentanyl is on the streets. You try, you die.
I think you should read it again.
I wasn't ready for that at all.
Don't take anything from anyone. I'm saying it in the mom voice.
Okay.
Fentanyl is on the streets. You try, you die. Okay?
What a way to kick us off.
You try, you die.
I mean, a lot of truth there.
I will be taking that. You try, you die.
Boy, you try, you die.
That's
Woo,
amazing.
That's a good one. I like
That
that.
was hysterical.
That was great.
was-
That's what a way to start our time together.
On the other end of the spectrum, the amount of sleep you get colors your worlds.
Colors your world.
That's adorable.
That's Lauren's
like,
there's so much
Lauren
truth dropping.
felt that in her soul, that phrase. The amount of sleep you get colors your world. If you take a bite of a cookie / dessert and it tastes bad, throw it away. It's not worth being upset and eating the calories when you can eat something you actually enjoy instead.
I also feel that in my core.
Chores are easier and more enjoyable when you have someone to do them with. Aw, cute. Don't measure yourself against someone else's yardstick. The only thing that will give you a true account is how God sees you. Aw, so true. Despite the things I've regularly heard my mom say, I think she lives her good advice more than she speaks it. And that feels even more powerful because it's a true reflection of her heart and what she believes. Oh, so sweet.
Wow. So
Yeah.
many.
That was like a lot of
That
little,
was like
nuggets.
perfect.
Yeah.
We were humorous, then we were real, and then we were like introspective.
And we're sobbing.
And now we're sobbing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That was
I
great.
mean,
Thanks,
maybe
Mom.
I should give that to my kids so they can submit that in the future. Here are all the
just
things
hold
I
this.
learned from her mom. Okay.
So cute.
Communication is the key to any good relationship. Agreed.
I mean, yeah. That's
Whoever your mom is, I agree.
That's it.
And I think
She was probably a good communicator.
I feel like it's the key to so many things in life, right? It's the key to building relationships. It's the key to like your career, like to parenting, to your marriage. And yet most of us are still so bad at it. So we hear it over and over again, but we don't necessarily become better at it. So good reminder.
good reminders. Let's see if we have another little pocket of gold here. She always said, make sure you have clean underwear on in case you get in an accident. I'm just going to say that one more time again.
How is Rebecca getting these?
She always said, make sure you have clean underwear on in case you get in an accident. Okay. I just would like to say that I've thought about this actually.
I feel like your mom would tell you something like this.
I don't think I've ever heard her say that, but it's like it's a survive.
It's a Marianne type of mentality. Yeah.
Now, I have thought about this myself
Of course you have.
and been like, well, they're going to get what they get, you know? Like if I don't know what happens, but yeah, being like, what happens if I am out all day, I'm sweaty and gross or whatever, and I get into a car accident and the paramedics come and they're like,
I think if you're at the point where the paramedics have to cut your clothes off, that probably everything else going on is going to override some sweaty, very good point. Unmentionables.
It's a very good point. So yeah,
usually I get those answers. So I'm happy with this. I like that we're changing here.
It's the clean part that kills me though, because it's like,
who's not wearing
clean underwear?
That's a very good point.
I think it's more like you should be wearing the ones without the holes.
Yeah,
or
I think boys struggle with this more than girls.
That's you know, and I don't really want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know more about those struggles.
This could have been a man.
That could have been a man. Could have been. Yeah, I don't want to know that. But I guess it's more like like maybe throw away the ones with the holes and do your laundry so that you're not wearing those like, I don't know, like Pikachu underwear that in the back of your drawer type thing. I don't know. Whatever weird ones you have for emergency days.
Or judgment on Pikachu at all. None. But wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. When speaking to someone, give eye contact, speak slow and articulate, and speak with confidence.
Wow.
Slightly different than the underwear.
Slightly. But another communication.
Yeah. This is an excellent response.
To be a good speaker, for anything.
That'll get you everywhere. That'll open every door.
This will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
So
it's so good.
That's a good key.
Thanks, Mom, whoever you are.
Whew. Okay. When you leave the house, always look your best, no matter where you are going.
Whoa.
Ha. Exclamation mark.
Okay.
My mom truly lived by that rule. Aww. One time she mentioned an outfit she was going to be wearing on the Wednesday coming up. I said, Mom, where are you going on Wednesday? She said, to chemo. She would walk into that chemotherapy clinic looking absolutely stunning with the biggest smile. And she made everyone smile when they saw her.
That's amazing.
So many people would come up to us to say thank you. She gave them hope just by wearing something special each week. When everyone else was in sweats and hoodies, she was in a beautiful outfit along with high heels. Even when it must have been the hardest, she always looked her best.
Wow. That's like your motto.
It's like my motto.
Look good,
I
feel
love that.
So lovely.
Yeah, I think it affects your mood. I keep saying this, and it does affect the people around you.
It's lovely.
And so that's really beautiful to be able to say that about your mom.
What are we going to get? Let's see. Friends may come and go, but family is forever. Okay, this is cute. No matter how many friendships you gain or lose in life, the bond with your siblings is most important. As you grow older, prioritize those relationships and stay close. Cute. That's important.
Yeah. I feel like it is something that I didn't think a lot about until having my own kids, that I really want them to have a good, supportive relationship and to be good communicators to each other and to just love each other, which sounds so like silly and simple, and I do already, even though they're so young at 3 and 5, I do love the relationship that my kids have with each other and the way that they express love to each other and play with each other and all of that. So I hope that that's something that continues as they
that's super sweet.
become adults.
Yeah.
You don't think about it in, 20 years from now, but like when you think of your maybe extended family now or just immediate family, and once your parents start to get older, you're now that aunt and uncle, your cousins, or your kids and everything running around. So if you don't put into those relationships, you're not going to have that.
Yeah.
And I definitely grew up with mostly my mom's side of the family. She came from a really large family. So we did family picnics, like 50 people there and random extended cousins. But obviously it's not like that now. But I still think about it. It's like, I want to be intentional with getting together. Even if I'm like, they're begrudgingly coming and I'm like, you will come to this picnic at my house.
You're so good at that though, with like creating that.
It's a little bit selfish because I'm like, this makes me happy, but also I'm like hoping to, keep that going.
Yeah.
And it is, I think, a little, it comes more naturally probably to the female if there is a sister in the relationship. I feel like guys are, again, not trying to generalize, but in general, guys are not as good at, you know, being vulnerable or expressing love or emotion or like going out of their way to nurture that relationship. So it does usually fall, I feel like, on the sister in the relationship to do that. But I think guys can develop their own ways of at least showing a willingness or interest or, you know, whatever it may be. Totally. But yeah, I like that.
I'm going to change a couple words in here so that we don't get demonetized. Okay. But because we really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
This one's easy for me. My mom taught me about my period and taught me about intimacy in a way that was not awkward or scary and never made me think that intimacy was dirty within the confines of God's design. Those conversations also paved the way for me to always go to my mom when I had questions about this topic as I got older. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing to be able to say that about your mom.
I think that's beautiful. I think, to be able to say so confidently that there was never a feeling of, there was never a fear of going to your mom.
Shame.
For something so important, which we do not talk enough about.
Yeah.
And that is, whoever this mom is, I mean, gold star. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that we've talked about just, you know, as friends and had conversations about like, how are we going to, you know, approach, whether it's, you know, intimacy, periods, anything that's more either just a little delicate or taboo or like, how are we going to approach that with our kids? And it's so hard. My gosh.
It's so hard, but I'm very confident that each one of our daughters one day will be able to say that. I'm pretty solid on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that if you are thinking about it and hoping to do a good job, you're probably on
You're on the right track.
the right track.
Yeah.
So good.
Willing to do that, but I like that. Okay.
All right.
I think I have to do one.
Yep. Okay.
Treat others with respect. Don't call your siblings or others stupid or say shut up to them. Pray. Tacked on to the end of there. I think that, I mean, it sounds so like straightforward and simple, but I think that's true. Like there's so much power in our words. And we can be so quick, even if it's joking, to say things, but you just never know like what words are going to stick with people or strike a chord or cause hurt. So I think always erring on the side of caution and love and kindness is probably just a good way to live your life.
A good tip for everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. My mom always stressed really trying to make time to spend with my grandparents. I didn't really take her advice seriously until only a few years ago when my grandmother, we call her Mima, started suffering with dementia, and my grandfather, who we call Peepaw, started having a hard time moving around like he used to. As I grew up, I took for granted time with them. I think on the times, far and few between, that I went bowling with Peepaw, which isn't really possible to do with him anymore, which makes me wish I did more often. Mom was right. I should have spent more time with them, but they're still around, and even though I can't bowl with Peepaw anymore and my Mima's mind isn't as sharp, I'm gonna cherish each moment with them because I never know when it'll be the last. Great advice from my mom. Oh, so sweet.
Adorable.
So true.
Yeah.
It's hard, I think. You hear that advice when you get older and you understand it, but it's hard, I think, even especially as a kid. As a teenager, you start to understand that, but when your grandparents, I feel like, depending on where you are in the sibling line, like if they are a little bit older already when you're younger, that's hard, I think, to absorb that. Yeah. But if you have that time, I think, to really set aside, go out for lunch with them or anything like that, I think it's really special.
I gotta say, I saw my parents, and this is situational probably, because in order to get that type of advice from your mom, there has to be a semblance of a good relationship, I think, with her and her parents or dad and his parents. But I watched my parents take exceptional care of their parents. Exceptional. And my mom was dealing with her mom, who was definitely frail, and then her father, who had Alzheimer's. And I mean, it was just every day, like, they were at the top of the priority list. The kids were older. I was probably 15 at the time, so I was very independent, and I just watched her take such good care of her. But I was also going along for those grocery rides. I was going along to bring stuff to the house, to bring paper towels to the house, to wash dishes, to do all that. So that is something that's a little bit ingrained in me, that this is what you do when you get older. And my dad was a little bit different because he has 3 sisters. So the sisters kind of took care of the house stuff. But watching my mom take care of her parents left a huge imprint on me that this is just what we do when that time comes. Like, our parents take care of us. So one day we can and should be ready to kind of return that favor.
Yeah. I watch the same with my mom of her taking care of both of her parents in their sickness and, all of that. And I have huge respect. And now I have the relationship with my parents that, I hope that time never comes, but if it does, that will take top priority in my life. But as far as what this person is saying, I think the key is really in the parent to be the bridge in keeping that relationship between grandparent and grandchild, because I think it's very rare, especially as you if your grandparents are still around as you become an adult and have your own life and maybe don't live as close and have your own kids. And then that grandparent's getting older and older and older. It's hard to feel a connection, maybe. But it's your parents who have, the memories and the foundation of all that their parents did for them. And I feel like they sort of have to be that glue or that bridge that makes that relationship possible. Because just saying that, like, your grandparents important, spend time with them. You're like, okay, like, what do I talk to them about? Or maybe your grandparents are, can't get out of bed or in a nursing home, and it makes it harder than I think the advice sounds.
Sure.
And
so sometimes you need that, like, it facilitated almost.
Yeah, I think that's really insightful. That's beautiful. Okay. My mom helped me cultivate a just try it attitude towards new experiences. I'm really grateful for the fearlessness she demonstrated to all of us growing up by putting us in scary situations as kids, in parentheses, going to a foreign country as an 11-year-old, competing in a debate I wasn't interested in, to name a few. Now in my adult life, things and experiences that would normally intimidate others don't scare me.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I definitely don't. My mom and I like to be in our little
like comfort.
We like our comfort. We like comfort food. We like comfort blankets. We like comfort tea. We like all the comforts. So I love these because this helps me think about, like, even the things that I will not. Things aren't going to be natural for me to pass on to my kids, but this is important. This is really important, and not something that would come naturally to me. So I love this. It's a good exercise.
Yeah, Miles and I had such different experiences that way, where he was just like thrown into every new uncomfortable situation. And at the time, did not appreciate that. I think later in life, he has an appreciation of how it shaped him. Whereas not so much because of my parents, more because of my personality, where I'm very cautious and a perfectionist and don't want to fail and make a fool of myself, that I wasn't a just try it personality naturally. I think when there was something that I wanted to try, my parents were like 100% behind me. Of like, yep, we will do whatever it takes to bring this idea or bring this opportunity into your orbit, which I really appreciate. But I feel like Miles and I are always like trying to find that common ground, because he's like, they should do everything once and try. And I'm like, okay, but also let's not traumatize them. Like, maybe some personalities are more can, work with that. And other personalities will be like, well, I'm never leaving my room again. So finding the middle ground there is.
I think my parents were both realists with trying new things. Like, they were very much like never putting me down ever. My parents never put me down on anything, but also real in that, Joy, this is going to ruffle feathers, I think. Joy, you can't be anything you want to be.
Yeah, we're gonna get real with you.
You can't be anything. Like you cannot be an NBA player. You can't. Like there are limits to you. But whatever, I remember my dad saying this, and my mom too, but specifically my dad because he was very big on this. Like whatever you do choose to do, we're behind you.
Yeah.
Like you choose what you want, and we're behind you.
Yeah.
But just know that you can't do it all. So choose wisely type of thing.
I think my parents were like that too, which I think is good to be in middle ground there because I think I see, it swings too far. Like you can be anything you want to be. And it's like, okay, great, I'm gonna be an astronaut. And then all of a sudden you're 25 and it's like, well, you didn't do anything to try to become an astronaut. You don't even know the process of it. It's like you have to help yourself a little bit. So my parents were always like, they're very big on identifying and like nurturing the like natural talents and passions that you can see in your kids and like helping steer them towards those things so that they do have a successful, fruitful life and are not just lost in all the possibilities and dead end potential.
So many possibilities. But I think I gotta be careful. I say this too because as not being a mom yet, I'm careful. I don't have kids yet, so I want to be careful how I come across sometimes. Like I know and I really don't, but I think more people are probably hurt by option overload and not knowing what to do than people who are hurt by potentially thinking that they can only do a couple things well. Because if you are so lost in a sea of possibilities that you don't even know what direction, you're going to stand still. You're not going to go anywhere. Yeah. At least if you have a couple directions, that's a much clearer path to take. So that's my parents definitely, my mom definitely showed me that at a young age. And I think I'm happy with where I am as far as like relationships, job, like family, friends. Like I'm very happy in that. So I think they did a good job. I'm happy.
I think if you were watching us yesterday and you heard what my mom said about me and how, she had a daughter that was so different from her. My mom was very shy and reserved. And, I was like, let me speak my mind to everybody and, all of that. Well, I also find that my daughter is very different.
I was thinking of that the whole time you were talking. I was like, Avery.
And I'm like, it's just hysterical. And finding ways to sort of like dismantle expectations because she's not a mini me. She's her own person. And so I can't just like put these expectations that she's going to do everything the way I would have done it. And there is something beautiful because I see so many things about her personality that are like, oh my gosh, like that would be my best version of me that I haven't figured out yet. Like she does things so much, more easily and she won't struggle with the same things. But, definitely at that, like my daughter thinks she's the best at everything. Yeah. And I'm always like, okay, but is there like a little room for improvement? Like you want to keep their confidence up, but also like if you want to be something, you actually have to learn how to be that. And she's like, I already know. And I'm like, okay. How do we navigate this? So it's been fun when God gives you things.
So funny. Yeah. Where are we right now? Who are we on?
I don't have any more.
Oh yeah, I think you went a couple times.
I did.
Yeah,
so sorry,
skipped
guys.
us. It's all right. It's all right. You were feeling it. You were in a groove. I have two more.
I have one more. So you go.
Okay, so I'll go.
Wow, you really just did whatever you wanted to do.
Really?
Maybe. That's okay. You can just take it in.
Yeah, just take it in. Okay. This is we're getting real deep right now with this one. The Holy Spirit does not deal in odds. That's Mom's response to my question, what are the odds? Meaning there are no accidents and no coincidences in my life. Everything is calculated by God.
I feel like
it's a good reminder in a way,
I feel
right?
like all of our moms at one point probably said something like that to us. 100%. Yeah, no coincidence. I mean, the very dumbed down version of that is everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Right? Everything happens for, and there's definitely a nugget of truth that we all believe in that. 2 words. Don't settle.
Ooh. I think as we've been discussing, don't settle for a poorly fitting pair of jeans and don't settle for a man or anything else. Or some dessert that doesn't taste good.
Don't settle for empty calories. They can be empty, but they better taste good.
Yes. All right. She says, going for silly here. She is very passionate about getting gas in your car before a big snowstorm or hurricane.
Practical.
But not that you're going anywhere if you're about to have a snowstorm.
Listen,
or hurricane,
I feel like I could resonate with this. Not that they would say that to me, my mom, but
well, they should, because you are almost always out of
Always
gas.
out of gas. No, you should have been learning this. Like, I'm
So stressed about your gas tank.
But I will never. I've heard this story so many times that there was way back when they had even and odd days to get gas, depending on your license plate. And my parents were driving back from, like, I think Virginia Beach from a volleyball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to get gas. Mm-hmm. They got over the border into New Jersey, and it wasn't their day to get gas, and they ran low. So they ended up stopping at my aunt's house in South Jersey, broke into her garage because she wasn't home, and put gas in the car. And for some reason, it wasn't like a traumatic, it wasn't like a hurricane, but I was like, oh,
wow.
You need to get gas when you need to get gas.
Wow.
So,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. That really just speaks to me, right?
I mean, it almost feels like we're talking about like a different like century when we talk about even odd days for gas. Like, I can't imagine living like that.
Yeah. Well, remember when Sandy?
Yeah, no, I do remember Sandy.
Yeah.
But it felt like oh, the world might end.
Yeah, we're like, well, this is interesting. Like,
this is a California problem. I don't know why we're dealing with
why
this.
are we having this in Jersey?
So weird.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then this is a two-parter.
Oh, so sorry.
She also taught me, probably without realizing it, that blasting good music makes cleaning the house more fun or lifts your mood.
Amen to that.
That is true.
Amen.
A good playlist can go a long way.
Yes.
Super quick one. That, Mom, you've taught me so much. So this is not the only thing I've taken away from my 32 years. I don't know why this is on my mind so much when I think of stuff that my mom did. My mom's a big, like, cook. She loves cooking, and she also loves things tidy. So one thing that has stayed in my mind since I was 5, old enough to observe, when she's cooking, she has a damp paper towel, like a clump of it. And everything she does is just a wipe. She is cleaning as she's cooking.
As she's cooking.
And that is absolutely something that I have adopted. I have this damp clump of paper towels just like at the ready. It's like as important as my spoon. Like, it's right there. So yeah, thanks for that, Mom.
I mean, my mom literally just came to my house after I spent a day cooking a lot. And my sink was overflowing. And she was like, I have to teach you how to do this while you're cooking.
Well, don't get me wrong. I still do it wrong to my mom. She's like, Joy, just let me do your laundry. I'm like, Mom, I have my own house. I can do my own laundry. She's like, yeah, but you don't do it right. I'm like, okay. So
I never knew there were so many ways to do something like.
Yeah. Okay. My mom's that we now joke about, but that she definitely said many times in my teen years, which I have probably shared, is your attitude determines your day, and you determine your attitude.
Love that.
Which at 15 years old, I was like, okay, you determine your day. So yeah, didn't necessarily want to hear that, but it did stick. And now I say that to myself in an annoying little voice when I have a bad attitude.
You're like, okay.
Isn't it crazy how those things stick, man?
That one's like, oh, yeah. You just like,
I mean, you never want to hear that one, but it is true. It is definitely true.
Wow, look at all these little nuggets, guys. Look at all these little.
Thanks for sharing, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
That went through mine so fast. Sorry.
So fast.
Just threw it off. Well, thanks for sharing and participating. As always, we hope you've been enjoying this week of this time talking about moms. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And as always, don't forget to enjoy the view wherever your ride takes you.